Hello viewers, welcome to CEC Gurukul lectures. In my previous lecture, I had discussed the stereoisomers of 2-bromo-3-hydroxy-butane dioic acid, in which we saw that the molecule has 2 chiral carbons and the molecule is non-symmetrical. That is, substitution around each chiral carbon is different. So this molecule has 4 stereoisomers, that is 4 enantiomers and 2 enantiomeric pairs. There I had even discussed the properties of enantiomers in great details. In this lecture, I shall be now establishing the relationship between the molecules which you can see on your screen. I have already discussed in my last lecture that since this molecule, that is 2-bromo-3-hydroxy-butane dioic acid, has 2 dissimilar chiral carbon atoms, that is, in one chiral carbon is attached to 4 different groups, OH, COH, H, and this group is different here. The 4 groups are different. Similarly, this chiral carbon is attached to 4 different groups, Br, H, COOH, and C. This is the 4th different group. That means these 2 carbon atoms here are chiral since they are attached to 4 different groups. So what I'm trying to tell you is that these 2 chiral carbons are dissimilar, since in them one chiral carbon is attached to one group OH, which is different, that is the hydroxyl group, which is different from the bromo group which is attached to the second chiral carbon. So this molecule is non-symmetrical. Since it is non-symmetrical, this will exist in 4 forms, in which we've already established that these 2 structure stereoisomers are non-superimposable mirror images of each other and hence are enantiomers. They are optically active. One will rotate the path of plane polarized light in right hand direction, whereas the other will rotate the path of plane polarized light in left hand direction. Similarly, when we write the structure of the stereoisomer in a form in which OH and Br are on the opposite side, here again we get a pair of enantiomers which are again non-superimposable mirror images of each other. So here we are getting 2 pairs of enantiomers. That means the relationship of 1 to 2 is that these are non-superimposable mirror images of each other. Similarly, 3 and 4 are also non-superimposable mirror images of each other. Now the question arises, what is the relationship between 1 and 3 and 2 and 4? Are they mirror images of each other? Are they superimposable or are they non-superimposable? So we find that these molecules, that is molecule 1 to molecule 3, if you look, and if you compare 1 to 4, we will find that these are not mirror images of each other. Each one of them is optically active because it has chiral carbons in it. It has dissimilar chiral carbons in it, but they are not mirror images of each other. So let me explain this in detail. Here we have one stereoisomer which is attached to COH group, which has a chiral carbon, and this chiral carbon is attached to COH group, OH, H, and this is the 4th group, which is CHBrCOH. Now when we compare it to 3rd or the 4th, what we find that at the first carbon, when we comparing 1 with 2, the orientation of groups here is different. It is same, right? So here the groups, these are, this chiral carbon is attached to 4 similar groups, that is COH, OH, H, CH, Br, COH. Similarly, this carbon is attached to 4 similar groups as to what this carbon is attached, that is COH, OH, H, CH, Br, COH. So where are they differing? They are differing. What we find that at this carbon, the orientation of groups is the same. But when we look at the second carbon, we find that the orientation of groups here is different. In one, the Br is on the left hand side. In the other, the Br is on the, here the Br is on the left hand side, here the Br is on the right hand side. So here the configuration is opposite. So are they mirror images of each other? No, they are not mirror images of each other. And if we look into this, now the next question comes, are they non-superimposable mirror images of each other? Then we say no, they are also not non-superimposable mirror images of each other. So now let us again compare 1 with 4, and when we compare 1 with 4, we find that these structures, this structure will behave similarly, that in this case now the orientation of groups at this second chiral carbon is different, that is OH here is on the left hand side, whereas here OH is on the right hand side, and in this case again the orientation around this chiral carbon is same. So 1 and 4 are also not mirror images of each other. Neither are they non-superimposable. So what are these isomers known as? These are known as diastereomers. Whereas when we compare the stereoisomer with structure of stereoisomer 3 with structure of stereoisomer 4, we find that they are non-superimposable mirror images of each other. Hence, they are enantiomers. Let me now take another example of the molecule in which again we have, which was the enantiomer of structure 1, and if we compare its structure, that is the orientation of groups in space, with molecule 3 or 4, we find again when we compare 2 with 3 or 2 with 4, it has no mirror image relationship, and these are also not superimposable. So these are 2 and 3 and 2 and 4. Similarly, 1 and 3 and 1 and 4 are pair of diastereomers, whereas 3 and 4 are enantiomers. So what do we conclude from here? That diastereomers are stereoisomers which have the same configuration at one chirality center but different configuration at the other. In other words, we can say diastereomers are stereoisomers which are not mirror images of each other. So this is what I have shown here again. Let us quickly go through it, that these two are enantiomers since they are non-superimposable mirror images of each other, whereas 2, when we compare 2 to 3 or we compare the structure of stereoisomer 2 to 3 or 2 to 4, we find that they are differing at least one chiral carbon. The orientation of groups is different, and hence they are diastereomers. Now let us discuss the properties of diastereomers. So we say that diastereomers, as already discussed, are non-superimposable and are not mirror images of each other. And they are possible only in those molecules which are having two or more chiral centers, because then only we will find that the molecule may have same configuration at one chiral carbon and different configuration at the other. Now, since their configuration is different around at least one chiral carbon, that is, they are not mirror images of each other, so their physical properties such as melting points, boiling points, refractive index, solubilities and so on will be different. So because they have different physical properties, they can be separated by fractional distillation, fractional crystallization and chromatography. Whereas we found that the properties of enantiomers physical properties of enantiomers are same. So they cannot be separated by simple methods of separation, that is simple physical methods of separation. They have similar, now when we talk of diastereomers, they have similar but not identical chemical properties. That is, the rate of the reaction of diastereomers with chiral or achiral reagents are generally different. So when a reagent reacts with either of the two diastereomers, what we find that neither the two set of reactants nor the transition states are mirror images of each other. Therefore, they will not have, the transition states will not have equal energies. And since the activation energies will be different, the rate of reaction will be different. So the reaction, they will not react, the diastereomers therefore do not react similarly with reagents which may be optically active or which may be optically inactive. Now when we talk of diastereomers, we may be having diastereomers which may be optically active. These diastereomers will be optically active, that is, we know that this molecule has two chiral carbons, so the total number of optical active isomers here would be 2 raised to the power of n. So if it is 2 raised to the power of n, we will have 4 stereoisomers, and these two chiral carbon atoms are not similarly substituted. They are attached to one different group, that is, this chiral carbon is attached to a hydroxyl group, whereas this chiral carbon is attached to one bromo group. So that means because of the presence of these two different groups in the molecule which are attached to two different chiral carbons, this molecule is non-symmetrical. Therefore, the total number of stereoisomers here would be 4, and we find all these isomers are optically active. 1 and 2 are forming a pair of enantiomers and 3 and 4 are enantiomers. But when we compare 1 to 2 or 2 to 3, 1 to 3, 1 to 2 or 3 to 4, we find they are enantiomers. But when we compare 1 to 3 or 1 to 4, they are pair of diastereomers, and each one of them is optically active. Similarly, what we find when we compare stereoisomer 2 to 3 or 4, they are diastereomers, that is, they are not mirror images of each other, that this and this is not a mirror image, that is 2 and 3 are not mirror images. Similarly, 2 and 4 are not mirror images, but that means they are diastereomers, and in this case all the 4 stereoisomers are optically active. But we may come across a case in which the pair of diastereomers are not optically active. For example, let us compare the structure of tartaric acid. That is, the IUPAC name is 2,3-dihydroxybutane dioic acid. So when we compare structure 1 to 2, they are enantiomers, since they are non-superimposable mirror images of each other. But when we compare structure of 1 to 3 or 2 to 3, we find that they are not mirror images of each other. That is, when I compare 1 to 3, we find that orientation at the this chiral carbon, that is the second carbon in the molecule, is same, but at third it is different. Similarly, for when we compare 2 to 3, we find that configuration around this chiral carbon is different, whereas there it is same. So that means 1 and 3 and 2 and 3 are diastereomers. And in this case, what we find that that 2 of them are optically active and 1 is not optically active. It is the mesoform. This I shall be discussing very soon. Now that means this molecule is optically inactive. Why is it so? So we say that the pair of diastereomers may be, all the diastereomers may be optically active, or one may be optically active, or it may not be optically inactive. That will depend as to how the chiral carbons are substituted. Are they identically substituted, or the groups attached to the two chiral carbons are different? Here we find in tartaric acid that both the chiral carbons are identically substituted. That is H, COH, OH, and this is the fourth group, which is CHOH, COH. Similarly, this chiral carbon is also identically substituted. That means all the groups here which are attached to this chiral carbon are identical to the groups which are attached to this chiral carbon. So in this case, the pair of diastereomers will not, all the structures, all the stereoisomers will not be optically active. 1 and 2 will be optically active, and the mesoform will be optically inactive. So as we discussed in geometrical isomers, we saw that geometrical isomers are also not superimposable, and they are also not mirror images of each other. So we say geometrical isomers are examples of diastereomers. So what are diastereomers? We know that diastereomers are stereoisomers which are not mirror images of each other and which are non-superimposable. So cis trans form of 1,2-dichloroethene and cis form of 1,2-dichloroethene are diastereomers, since they are not mirror images of each other, and the two stereoisomers are non-superimposable. And we also know that the physical properties of diastereomers are different. So now if the question is asked that explain geometrical isomers are diastereomers, you will simply say geometrical isomers are diastereomers since the two molecules are not mirror images of each other, they are neither superimposable, and their physical properties are different. Hence, they are a pair of diastereomers. Now let us quickly revise the differences between the enantiomers and diastereomers, and this question is normally asked in the exams, like as to what are enantiomers, give differences between enantiomers and diastereomers. So we know stereoisomers which are non-superimposable mirror images of each other are enantiomers. whereas stereoisomers that are non-superimposable and are not mirror images of each other are diastereomers. Then we know that enantiomers have identical physical properties except for their ability to rotate plane polarized light to same extent in opposite direction. That means here the magnitude or the angle of specific rotation will be same, but the direction of rotation will be different. Whereas when we talk of diastereomers, we find that they have different physical properties like melting point, boiling point, density, solubility. They will rotate the plane pole. They may now rotate depending on the orientation of the groups in the molecule. They may rotate plane polarized light in the same direction or in the opposite direction. But whatever direction they rotate, the extent of rotation here will be different. Whereas in enantiomers, the extent of rotation was same. It was the direction which was different. Now, since the physical properties of enantiomers are same, they cannot be separated by physical methods. Whereas when we talk of diastereomers, as we've discussed, they have different physical properties, and since they have different physical properties, they will be separated by simple physical methods like fractional distillation, fractional crystallization, and chromatography. Enantiomers are always present in pairs, whereas for diastereomers we can have various molecules. For example, we took tartaric acid, in which we had one tartaric acid which was optically active and the other was the mesoform. So we can have various molecules for diastereomers. That is, when we compared the structures of 2-bromo-3-hydroxybutane dioic acid, there we found that one of the structure is diastereomeric with two other structures. That is, in one structure the OH and Br were on the same side of the molecule, whereas in the other they were oriented on the opposite sides. So there the relationship was that of diastereomers. So till now what I have done is I have discussed with you the optical rotation in those molecules which are having two dissimilar chiral carbons, and because of the presence of two dissimilar chiral carbons, we saw that the total number of stereoisomers were 4, out of which we had 2 enantiomeric pairs, that is, all of them were optically active. And then we also saw that the relationship of one structure of the one form of enantiomer to the other pair of enantiomers was that of diastereomers. Then we also compared in great detail the properties of enantiomers and diastereomers also. In my next lecture, now I shall be discussing optical isomerism in those compounds which have similar chiral carbon atoms. For example, 2,3-dihydroxybutane dioic acid, which is tartaric acid. And you know that optical isomerism was discovered in tartaric acid by Pasteur, and he had even shown us that this tartaric acid is existing as a racemic mixture. In today's lecture, I have also discussed what is a racemic mixture, and we know that racemic mixture is an equimolar mixture of the D and the L form of a particular enantiomers. Now in my next lecture I shall be discussing the optical isomerism in symmetrical molecules which have 2 or 3 chiral carbon atoms in it, and what will be the number of optical isomers in them. We shall also be discussing racemic and mesoforms, and we shall be discussing racemic forms in great detail. That is when a racemic compound is formed during a course of reaction, and how will we resolve it. That is, how will we separate a racemic mixture. For this lecture, I have followed the books of Wade, and I've also followed some links from YouTube, and I followed book of Carey Francis and Wade, which were a great help in preparing the lecture series for you. Thank you.